midday. Hello, good afternoon. Welcome to 12 Live on Class 91.3 FM in Accra and affiliates across the country. Now, if you're listening in the Volta region, this is Ho FM 92.5, Dagban FM 102.5. It's also picking the bulletin live in Tamale. We are live on Radio 92.1 in the Upper West region, live on Radio Power 96 in Spain, and around the world. You can join us on classfmonline.com. And coming up this afternoon, government to finalize Constitutional Review Committee reports.
We've gone quite far. Cabinet is meeting on Friday to complete the government position paper. After that, I think the...
Meanwhile, Council of State advises Parliament against the passage of the Dual Citizenship Bill.
This Council advised against the passage of the bill, which meant that they differed from the earlier advice of the Council of State of the 8th Parliament, which had given Parliament the go-ahead to process and pass the bill. Honourable members.
Also coming up this afternoon, Parliament suspends Friday sitting for National Flood Cleanup exercise scheduled for this weekend.
On Friday, 10th July 2026, to enable honourable members from the affected regions to return to their constituencies and provide direct leadership in the cleanup exercise alongside their people. Definitely, it was unanimous yes.
Still to come in the bulletin, construction resumed at La General Hospital after years of delays after recent visit by President Mahama. Also coming up this afternoon, Minister for Roads and Highways admits this year's heavy rains have exposed the quality of road construction across the country, charging contractors on the Big Push project to construct proper drainage systems to protect the roads. We have more on this development as Kwame Agboja-Govins warns government will not award new contractors or contracts contractors who fail to complete ongoing projects within the stipulated timelines. Later on in the bulletin, health authorities urged to vaccinate people in flood-prone areas against waterborne diseases following recent floods.
I would recommend that probably we vaccinate those people, like 1 kilometer away from those hot zones. Give all of them cholera vaccines, give all of them typhoid vaccine, give all of them the things that we need.
And in some sports news, Ghana jersey drops. The demand for it drops after World Cup exit.
Just in the time I started World Cup, you can find the price number the mine, and the World Cup sending it on, and no surprise now because.
Well, this is 12 Live here on Class 91.3 FM. You want to stay with us right here on this program as we bring you the details to these stories, including some sports coming up in the next 30 minutes. And we're always grateful for your company with us on 12 Live on Class 91.3 FM. My name is Charles Akrofi, here with
Veronica Amade.
Now, government has announced that it is set to finalize a report of the Constitutional Review Committee as part of ongoing efforts to strengthen Ghana's democratic governance and constitutional framework. The announcement was made by President John Dramani Mahama when the Australian High Commissioner to Ghana paid a courtesy call on him at the Jubilee House. President Mahama said the government remains committed to implementing key governance reforms, noting that the Constitutional Review Committee's recommendations would help address long-standing constitutional issues and improve the country's democratic institutions.
We've gone quite far. Cabinet is meeting on Friday to complete the government position paper. After that, I think the legal counsel and the attorney general will take about a week or two to put it all together. And after that is done, we'll, together with the Constitutional Review Committee report and the government position paper, we'll hand it over to the Constitutional Review Implementation Committee to kickstart the process of the Constitutional Review. The 1992 Constitution has served us very well. It's been one of our best constitutions. And that is what has, been the underpinnings of the Fourth Republic. And the Fourth Republic has lasted longer than any other republic in our history. And so we believe that any tweaking of the Constitution will only go to strengthen it even more and make it a living document to take us for the next 30 years. And so we appreciate the support that you have given.
Well, so that's President John Dramani Mahama there with, in an interaction with the Australian High Commissioner to Ghana. Meanwhile, the Council of State has advised Parliament against passing the Constitution of the Republic of Ghana Amendment Bill 2025, which seeks to remove constitutional restrictions preventing dual citizens from occupying certain public offices. Speaker of Parliament Alban Bagman disclosed the Council's position during proceedings in the House after receiving its opinion on the bill. The proposed legislation, widely known as the Dual Citizenship Bill, was first introduced during the 8th Parliament. Although it received the Council of State's endorsement at the time, it was not considered before Parliament was dissolved, necessitating its reintroduction in the current Parliament. Addressing members of Parliament yesterday, Speaker Bagman said the bill had been referred to the Council of State on March 30, 2026 in accordance with Article 291 Clause 2 of the 1992 Constitution for consideration and advice.
Received the advisory opinion of the Council of State on the Constitution of the Republic of Ghana Amendment Bill 2025. The bill seeks to amend provisions of the Constitution relating to citizenship-based qualifications from public office. The bill was referred to the Council of State on 30th March 2026 in accordance with Article 291, Clause 2 of the Constitution for consideration and advice. The Council has duly rendered its advice, and in doing so, has advised against the passage of the bill by Parliament. After the first reading of the bill, in compliance with the Constitution, I referred it to the Council of State for consideration and advice. Honourable members, as earlier stated, I have received the advisory opinion on the bill from the Council of State, and I told you this Council advised against the passage of the bill, which meant that they differed from the earlier advice of the Council of State of the 8th Parliament, which had given Parliament the go-ahead to process and pass the bill. Honourable members, while the advice of the Council of State does not determine the legislative judgment of Parliament, it constitutes an important constitutional contribution to the deliberative process contemplated by the framers of the Constitution.
And as the Speaker of Parliament, Alban Sumana Kingsford Bagman there. 12 Live here on Class 91.3 FM, turning attention to some other developments now.
Well, so the construction has resumed at the La General Hospital in Accra, reviving a project that has stalled for years after the facility was demolished for redevelopment. The hospital was pulled down 6 years ago to pave the way for the construction of a modern health facility. However, progress on the project slowed significantly, leaving residents without a major referral hospital in the area. Officials say work on the site is now progressing steadily following renewed efforts to complete the project. Esther Natal was at the scene of the hospital construction today. Here are excerpts of a report set to air later today on 505.
Here at the La General Hospital, construction is currently in progress. The hospital, which was stalled for a while, is currently under construction following a visit by the president somewhere in April. He urged the fast construction of the hospital, which was pulled down 6 years ago, for reconstruction. As we speak, workers are here working, and the level of the hospital building is very promising as well, with assurance that latest November next year, the hospital should be fully constructed. But residents here are also hoping the hospital is constructed fast due to some challenges they face in terms of quick access to health facilities. They have to travel all the way to other clinics or hospitals for treatment. Aside that, businesses here is being slowed down. And this is what some residents of the La community has to say.
No more can say, "Ufri la dia, omunshel." So ufri la now ufri osu, and now we are no say kwa near sister say ya bisa say ufri near can say ya osu. Sometimes you will call rich, a honey a quite rich special ya kwa chain police officer no. Or police officer rich ya you be a maso be work kwaranzo a ko wunu rich.
And that was a report by my colleague Esther Natal, but she joins me in studio today. Esther, tell us, what was your observation yesterday?
Yes, so I was at the La General Hospital earlier today to check what is actually going on. And for real, the construction of the building is moving very fast and very okay. So I feel within Okay, due to some investigations I did, latest by November next year, the building should be completed. Yes.
This is what was told you by the authorities when you got there, when you spoke with them, isn't it?
Well, so unfortunately, I couldn't have enough time to have a conversation with the authorities. But with the residents around, with the information they were told that next year November everything would be completed.
Okay, so
What's their mood? What's their mood?
Well,
Are they excited?
yes, they are, but then they are not happy because it's been a while. The building has taken so long to be completed, so they feel that it's really affecting them in terms of getting health in the area. They have to travel all the way to other places for to get treated. So they feel that it's not really helping. So they should do something about it. Aside that, it's slowing businesses as well because people around are not getting, due to the construction, things have come to a halt. So they feel that things should move on fast so that they can continue with their business.
That was my colleague Esther with some observation they made today at the General Hospital. Just hoping that by November the construction is going to be completed.
And you know, Veronica, this is one facility that has been played with politically, so to speak. I mean, so we get government say that we want to retrofit the entire facility, and then it was brought down after some time. We were hearing that construction wasn't ongoing and what have you, the back and forth and all of that we kept hearing as far as this development is concerned. We're hoping that this time, after the visit by the president, we would see some expedited action as far as the project in itself is concerned, and at the end of the day, it would bring some respite to the people within the enclave in terms of access to health delivery in that regard. But there's going to be more as far as this development is concerned, as we bring you the full excerpt of what Esther actually observed when she was at the site early today. This is 12 Live on Class 91.3 FM. Let's turn our attention to Parliament now, because the minority in Parliament has criticized President John Mahama over his handling of the June 29 floods, accusing him of failing to visit affected communities despite undertaking an aerial assessment of the disaster. The criticism comes after the June 29 floods claimed lives, displaced over 7,000 households, affected more than 38,000 people, and caused widespread destruction across parts of the Greater Accra region, prompting calls for stronger flood mitigation and flood efforts. Speaking on the floor of Parliament, Minority Leader Alexander Penyo-Marken said flood victims and families who lost loved ones have not received a visit from the President or senior government officials. He also questioned whether government was compiling data on those affected to guide relief and recovery efforts. The minority said six communities the minority leader said 6 communities in his constituency were submerged by the floods, with damaged roads and inaccessible farmlands worsening the hardship faced by residents. He stressed that government must move beyond what he describes as optics and demonstrate concrete support for victims.
Not seen the president visiting families. We saw him in the air. We saw him in the helicopter. Mr. Speaker, those who lost their lives, we have not seen any government official reaching out to them, their families. Those who lost properties, we have not seen any action from government. What we know is that the president was comfortably in the helicopter in the name of surveying, finding out. But Mr. Speaker, the people who suffered are in their home. The people who suffered, Mr. Speaker, is government taking data of those who suffered? My own Winneba, Efutu, 6 communities were submerged. Janjanazi, Atachado, Jahazi, Mr. Speaker, interacting with the chief and the people. Mr. Speaker, they are in pain. I've spent days with my people. Mr. Speaker, the roads have been cut off. They can't go to their farms, Mr. Speaker. That is the reality. We are talking about Accra. Winneba, 6 communities. Janjanazi people cannot cross Winneba. Jahazi, they cannot. Atachado, they cannot. In Swetchi, they cannot. Osbompeyin, they cannot. Atetu, they cannot. Silver Chrome, they cannot. That is the situation. Mr. Speaker, I think, hold the view that, Mr. Speaker, beyond the optics, government must demonstrate serious action.
And that's Alexander Afenyomark, he's the minority leader in parliament, now responding to criticism of state in charge of government. That's the minister in charge of government communications, Felix Fusu Kwachi, has defended President Mohammed's decision to assess the June 29 floods from the air, insisting the helicopter tour was aimed at understanding the extent of the disaster and not for leisure.
Mr. Speaker, President Mahama takes full responsibility and therefore will do what is right. But even as he has attempted to address this problem, some very bizarre narratives have been made. Mr. Speaker, for instance, it has been suggested that because the president was on a helicopter to assess the extent of the situation, he had done something wrong. Mr. Speaker, the president did not go for a jolly ride. Mr. Speaker, the president was not in the helicopter for leisure. As president, he needed to take firm action. And the way to do it is to see the extent of the problem. Mr. Speaker, there are those who, for political reasons, suddenly believe that by merely going to one or two houses to shake hands, they had done what was right. But the responsibilities of a president are far weightier than that of an opposition leader. You see, there's no room, Mr. Speaker, there's no room for that kind of misguided politicking in this discussion. People have said it here. The Honorable Member for Efia said it. Honorable Kobi Dako said it. Mr. Speaker, the amount of rainfall that we recorded last week or so was 140 millimeters in one day, 13 hours. In the whole of 2024, only 56 millimeters of rainfall was recorded. So it is only logical that we were going to suffer a deluge. So those narratives must be expunged. There must be no room for such illogical conclusions. There must be no room for such misguided politicking.
And that's the Minister for Government Communications, or Minister of State in charge of Government Communications, Felix Kwachi Ofosu. Let's get onto the phone lines now and connect with our parliamentary rep, Zita Okwan, where we understand that the minority in Parliament have been addressing the press on a number of issues. Zita, good to have you on the show this afternoon. So bring us up to speed with what really the minority is saying this time around.
Well, Charles, the minority's press conference was about the 350 million fund or amount of money that was given to flood victims. The minority this afternoon is saying that government has breached Article 178 of the Constitution for withdrawing the 350 million cedis flood relief money from different fund rather than the contingency fund without a parliamentary approval. According to the minority, the fund was under a Ganashi order by the courts, which means government could not have withdrawn money from it but should have sought parliamentary approval to withdraw the funds from another account. So this afternoon, they have been asking some questions and raising some demands. The minority is asking for the immediate and complete answers about which court is seized of the Ganashi proceedings against the contingency fund and which judgments that in which suits and for which amount. They are also asking that when was the Republic served and what did the Attorney General's office do about it. They have outlined 4 demands. They are asking first that the Attorney General and the Minister for Finance appear before Parliament without delay to lay before the House the Ganashi order, the full record of the suits that produced the judgments that and the letter of 1st July 2026. Charles, the minority caucus accordingly calls on the Attorney General and the Minister for Justice to resign forthwith. And they say that should he fail to do the honorable thing, they will call on the President who swore an oath to preserve and protect and defend the Constitution to relieve him of his office without delay. Secondly, the minority is asking that the Bank of Ghana states publicly without the whether the bank declined to give effect to the Attorney General's directive, and from which account the 350 million cedis was in fact released and on whose instruction. They are also asking the Attorney General to immediately conduct a special audit of the flood response disbursements from source to destination and report to Parliament. And finally, the minority is asking that the Attorney General resign or be removed from office. This, the minority further says that should candid answers not be forthcoming, they would pursue every parliamentary and legal avenue available to them, including a motion for a full-scale parliamentary inquiry and recourse to Supreme Court for the enforcement of the Constitution under Article 2 and Article 130. We can listen to the Deputy Minority Leader, Patricia Apieje, who addressed the press earlier this morning.
Should he fail to do the honorable thing, we call on the president who swore an oath to preserve, protect, and defend this constitution to relieve him of office without delay. The minority accordingly demands, first, the Attorney General and the Minister for Finance appear before Parliament without delay to lay before the House the Ganesha order, the full record of the suit that produced the judgment debt, the letter of 1st July 2026, and every correspondence exchanged among the Attorney General, the Ministry of Finance, the Controller and Accountant General, and the Bank of Ghana concerning the attachment, the directives, and the withdrawal. Second,
so that's the Deputy Minority Leader in Parliament, Madam Patricia, or Honorable, if you like, Patricia Apieje. There, earlier on, you heard me speak to our Parliamentary Affairs correspondent, Zita Okwan, bringing us up to speed with a press conference organized by the minority in Parliament early today. This is 12 Live on Class 91.3 FM. Let's bring you some other stories now.
So markets will go silent, shops will shut, and political activities will be suspended from Friday as government launches a 2-day cleanup operation in flood-hit areas. Minister for Local Government, Chieftaincy and Religious Affairs, Ahmed Ibrahim, has warned that all markets, shops, and political activities will be suspended during the nationwide environmental sanitation exercise, stressing that the security agencies have been directed to ensure full compliance. The directive follows President John Dramani Mahama's declaration of Friday, July 10th and Saturday, July 11, 2026 as National General Cleaning Days in the 7 regions affected by the recent floods. In a statement issued by President's spokesperson and Minister of State in charge of Government Communications, Felix Kwachi Ofosu, the President directed the suspension of political activities and called on ministers, members of Parliament, metropolitan, municipal and district chief executives, heads of public institutions and the general public to lead and participate in the exercise. The cleanup is aimed at desilting drains, clearing flood debris and disinfecting public spaces to prevent further flooding and possible disease outbreaks. Speaking during a meeting with MMDCs, Mr. Ibrahim said the exercise is necessary to remove waste carried into communities and markets by flood waters. He said the directive has been backing of the Chief of the Defense Staff, the Inspector General of Police and the Controller General of the Ghana Immigration Service, warning that anyone who opens a shop or market or engages in political activities in defiance of the order will face the full force of the law.
Friday, all other political activities must be suspended. Everybody must be on board. All markets and shops must be closed. And this one, the CDS is on board. And the IGP is on board. And the Controller General for Immigration is on board. So if you go and open your shop, you will be on fire. This is not just the normal thing that we've been doing. If a president speaks, and you want to take it for granted, the law will deal with you. He is the commander-in-chief of the Ghana Armed Forces. All shops will be closed, all markets will be closed. And the market, when the flood came, it entered most of the market. So if we don't close them and sweep and clear all the debris and disinfect most of the places.
You heard the Minister for Local Government, Chieftaincy and Religious Affairs, Ahmed Ibrahim.
So 12 Live, Class 91.3 FM. Osborne is readying himself to bring you the latest in the world of sports. But before then, Professor of Pharmacy and Public Health expert Professor Victor Wuto is urging health authorities to immediately begin vaccinating residents in flood-prone communities against waterborne diseases following the recent floods that affected several parts of the country. So Professor Wuto was early this morning on the Class Morning Show and has been having an interaction with me, calling for vaccination of persons within flood-prone areas. Take a listen.
Look, if you look at all the places that are, like perennial, consistently every year, they encounter those things. I would recommend that probably we vaccinate those people, like 1 kilometer away from those hot zones. Give all of them cholera vaccines. Give all of them typhoid vaccines. Give all of them the things that we need. All right. I mean, you can give a hepatitis A and vaccine. That's probably about 20 years kind of thing. You give them typhoid, you have 3, 4, 5 years protection. You give them cholera, you protect them, all right?
I see.
So that even if it does happen, which you know will happen, they have the vaccine in there to help them. So this is some of the things we should be looking at as a country, because it's going to happen, like I said. So those are some of the things I think we should be looking at.
And that's Professor Victor Wuto, who is a pharmacist and a public health expert. Time to bring you the latest on the world of sports. Osborne is right here.
Class Sports. Get it first.
Hello and welcome to the sports update on Class 91.3 FM. This is 12 Live and it's time for the details. Now, the National Sport Authority Director General Akrofi and Veronica says the true condition of the Accra Sports Stadium will only be established after a comprehensive technical inspection as Ghana intensifies preparations to host the 2027 Under-20 African Cup of Nations. He stressed that the assessment will determine the extent of renovation works required to ensure the facility meets CAF standards ahead of the tournament.
There was a review and a tour of the entire facility just 2 weeks ago with a French company that has come through. The Ministry of Sports and Recreation is privy to this. The report should be ready any moment from now. It could be today, it could be this week, and they will tell us the true state of the Accra Sports Stadium. They will tell us, this report will tell us whether we need to close down the stadium for a few weeks or a few months or a year, and the extent of work that needs to be done.
Ankara also warned that Ghana must improve its sporting infrastructure if it is to successfully host the 2027 Under-20 AFCON, stressing that quality facilities are essential meeting the tournament's hosting requirements.
Where we are now, I don't think we can host the African Cup of Nations unless, I'm talking about the Under-20. I'm not blaming anyone. I'm saying that all of us must really take a critical look at where we are and say that, look, we've come this far, we've not done the right thing, it's not too late. We can do that. 2%, 5%, 10%, whatever it is, must go into our investing in football.
More in sports, Team Ghana has received a major boost ahead of the 2026 Commonwealth Games after Easy Group Foundation donated 800,000 Ghana cedis to support the country's preparation for the Games in Glasgow, Scotland. The donation was announced at a ceremony in Accra attended by government officials, sports administrators, athletes and corporate leaders. Now, the Egyptian Football Association has questioned the standard of officiating in Egypt's 2026 FIFA World Cup defeat to Argentina, claiming refereeing decisions and use of video assistant referee had direct impact in the game. Egyptian coach Hazam Hassan voiced his frustration following the game.
All I can say is we deserved to win, and football isn't always fair either. I can't accept what happened in that match. I believe in my team, but I don't accept.
Fred. But that's how we wrap up today's edition. And before we leave, are you ready to reveal your fortune? Reveal Scratch for Win is here for you to change your life for good. So just dial star 850 star 5 hash and win up to 1 million Ghana cedis or more in cash prizes instantly. It's easy and exciting, and it's regulated by the National Lottery Authority. So you pick up your phone, you dial star 850 star 5 hash on all networks. Choose your station to play the game on, i.e. Class FM. Select stake amount between 5 Ghana cedis and 2,000 Ghana cedis. Choose your lucky card out of 5 options. Confirm gameplay and enter your Momo pin. Receive your game results and winnings instantly. It's easy, fun, and exciting. So get ready to scratch, win, and live your best life with reverse scratch for win up to 1 million Ghana cedis up for grabs. So the short code one more time is *850*5#. Reverse scratch for win, scratchy keke nidisika say bam. Reveal is strictly for persons 18 years and above, and reverse scratch for win is powered by Super Cash Games. And so it's a wrap right here from us in the studios of Class 91.3 FM, which came your way from our studios at Third at the Walk Street, North Laboni, Accra. My name is Charles Akrofi, and I did this with
Veronica Amade.
Always remember to visit classfmonline.com for some more stories. And at 5 o'clock, Kwame Ochi Jr. and the team will be back on your radios to delve into the day's big issues with expert analysis and what have you. Up next is the afternoon business review with Nana Ajimine Prempe. My name is Charles. Of course, I did this one more time with Veronica Amade. Have a good afternoon.